what I have done. It's really unacceptable. This is so not me. You know what is the reason? I have 400 books in my pile. This is so un me. So today we will be looking about what all the pending books which I have kept and what's the reason behind it. Let's get started. I am such a person who reads a book back to back, word to word, complete it and have time to digest it and then move on with the next book. This is so on me that this year, I don't know what has happened. I have kept 4 books incomplete in my pile, and it's already November and just still 2 months left to complete these books. The 4 books are Before You Starter, A Radical Awakening, Beyond the Story, How to Read a Book. This year has been quite a hectic year for me because I had a deadline of submitting my synopsis and also my thesis. So I had started these 4 books to read and I have not completed these 4 books, but I have also cheated because this year I have kept just 4 books as my reading goal, but still I have not met it. Once I had completed all my work with respect to the research, I thought I'd move ahead with my reading goal. Since there was only few months left, so I had cheated by selecting short books, the books that has less number of pages, and I completely skipped these books, which is unacceptable. Before You Start, I started in the year 2022. I have not yet completed that book because once I was reading the book, I received Radical Awakening as a gift. There was a period where I want to learn such kind of a spiritually awakening book. I read that book and I kept the starter book separately. Then BTS released the book Beyond the Story. You know, being a fan of BTS and also a bibliophile, I want to read the book. So I started with the book and then I had a very serious deadline that I have to meet it. So that book is also kept aside. Then I saw a book of how to read a book, and then it was quite a good book. I was reading a book, but still I want to know how effectively, how meaningfully, and how we can get full knowledge from a book. So this book helped me a lot. Again, I just left the book in half because only 3 months were left and I wanted to reach my reading goal. So I started to cheat. I selected the books which are very short and I completed maximum more number of books, like 3 to 4. Then there was Halloween season. I thought I will be doing an Halloween special. There arised that I am not doing the right thing. I should stop this and I have to concentrate what I have kept incomplete. So that's the reason I have not started a Halloween special. I have started completing these 4 incomplete books. So this is my reading goal which I want to complete in these 2 months of this year. You may ask that is it a big issue to keep books incomplete? I'll say no, you can keep books incomplete. There are some of the books in my pile where I have kept incomplete and I'm not gonna go further because sometimes we come to some scenario where we are not in line, we are not in the path where the author wants us to take, or sometimes you will have a contradictory idea. So I just get disturbed that if I'm not hand to hand with an author, I'll just stop the book. In my reading era, I have 1 book which I'm not gonna complete it. So it's okay to keep an incomplete book. There was one more book, that is Lady Chatterley's Lover, which was one of the other book which is very drastic in my reading period, but still I find somehow I manage the time in completing the book. So it is okay for you to leave books incomplete and go ahead, but it is not for Swapna Nikale because I don't like to keep any books incomplete. So I will be completing all these 4 books and then I'll move forward with my next reading pile. And I am planning to avoid this disaster by making a proper plan, proper draft for the next year. Obviously, I'll be sharing a video with respect to that how am I going to plan my next year 2024, what all books I'm planning to read, and I'll be sharing the reviews with you. Next question which many people ask or will have is that can they read multiple books? It is up to you. If you're able to handle multiple genre at the same time, you can go for multiple books. But to me, I feel again it's not a good idea for me to go for a multiple books, because when I read a book, I give my 100% to that book. I read it slowly, I get what the author is saying, and then sometimes I used to meditate based on the thoughts of the author. So, people like me, if we are planning for 2 or 3 books parallelly, it becomes difficult for me to digest that book, to get the ideas of the author. For example, if I'm reading self-help book and also a fictional book, self-help book is about the reality, the harsh reality of your life, whereas fiction is something like that doesn't exist. Some of the scenarios in fiction will be like impossible to happen in the real life. So when I read self-help in the morning and when I read fiction in the evening, somewhere there is contradictory world. So this I face very difficult. Because of this, I don't go for multiple books. I read one book at a time, and that is the reason I had the pending of how to read a book, because I want to read how that book which is kind of a non-fiction, and then I started to read fictional books. So there was a contradictory point for me. So that's the reason I'll be completing these 4 books, and then I'll go with the next further books. It's okay. You can have your own reading style, your reading behavior. It doesn't matter how you are reading it. I would like to lead a path of reading one book at a time and one genre, and not to leave any incomplete books. So once I have completed these 4 books, I will be dropping the review. I hope so you can expect before you start a book's review within this week. If you want to join with me in my reading journey, kindly hop into the train by like, comment and subscribe. Share the video with other bibliophiles also. Sharing knowledge is not a crime. Thank you.